So just use this. Don't do anything crazy for, if something is 100,000 searches, if you think that 300,000 searches was $5,000 and that was a good case scenario, we could do all sorts of things with this number here. We could go on the low end and make it 0.1%, or we could go to the, I wouldn't take it up to 1%. That would mean that, if it had, 100,000 searches, that it would go for $1,000, just the domain name, So, no, maybe. So let's keep those parameters the same. Traffic-wise, let's go up to $2. Let's kick some ass. Let's sell that sucker. If it had 1,000 hits a month, we'd do, $2,000. Waive all of that. If unless it had the keyword, if it did, if it had 100,000 searches a month, because of a keyword domain name that had 100,000 searches a month, that would be $300. Okay. This would be, $2,000. This would be $100. So we do the $2,400. Does that make sense? So just remember these parameters, and I will, of course, I will supply these in text, so you can just copy and paste them, and you can use a calculator. I think that's pretty good. Sales. The site starts making money, right? You take the amount of money that it made in a month, and the minimum you would probably want to sell it for is 3 times that amount. So if it makes $20,000 in a month, multiply it by 3, what do you get? You get $60,000. All right? So your site would be worth $60,000. Put it on the market, it'll sell immediately because it's a good deal. If you did 6 months, then you multiply the 20 by 6. Now, once it starts to make a lot of money, it's harder to sell. Okay? So, if in the 20 is starting to get up there. It will sell, but it might not sell for 12 months. You can sell a site for 12 months when it makes, this is why it's a good amount for a site to sell, is when it's like in the 4,000 a month, 5,000, because then you can sell it for 12 because people have that amount of money. So you're actually making more profit margin or you're getting a longer amount of time that it would sell for when it makes less. Isn't that weird? Because once it starts to make a lot more, then it's harder to, it's a bigger amount of money. So if you wanted to do those just more sites, if you wanted to do more sites that make less, you'd make more money selling those actually. But let's do the $20,000 one is fine. You could sell it for 10 months, which is $200,000, and that's what I did. I did that with one of my Beat Machine websites. So I'll say the name, Sonic Producer. So 20,000 at 3 months. It also depends on if the site is going like that on a good, trend. It will sell. If it is going like this, the revenue's going good, don't do it for 3 months, man. Do it for, try to do it for 12 months, if it's going like that. Also, how long it's been doing that for. If it's a year old and it's been ever steadily going, man, sell that for the whole amount that it's made, or even better yet, the last 3 months. Take those last 3 months and talk about those. This is totally honest, because that's what your prospective buyers are going to be asking you. They're going to be all about the last 3 months. What have you been doing with it lately to amp up the revenue? And it's a very important question as a buyer. If you're interested in buying a site, you always have to ask, how are they getting that traffic? What are the expenses? what's the net profit? What's the gross profit? How are you doing that? Does it require any, maintenance? Will you give support? Will you give consultations? We make sure that I don't mess anything up, etc. But that's stuff that as a seller you should offer as well. I mean, if you want your buyers to be happy, if someone gives you $50,000, that's really a significant amount of money. You need to make sure that they're totally clear about it, and that they know what's going on. I've said no to buyers. Sometimes when someone bought my thing off on eBay, I said, look, man, I don't think this is going to work. You want to just cancel the transaction? And they're like, all right. Because I had this one guy, he didn't know anything about it, and he bought the site. It was $180,000. Actually, he bought it for $200,000. I relisted it, sold it for $180,000. He bought it for $200,000. He sent me this long list of questions, and the questions were very, very basic. It was like, how do I host the site and stuff like that. It was stuff like I said, I don't think this is good for you. So yeah, just make sure you give as much information as possible and tell people that you want serious buyers only, because you don't need to waste your time. Like someone buys it and then for 3 weeks, like you're, tearing your hair out with this person doesn't understand. The worst killer is when it's a newbie and they really don't understand, how a website works and stuff, but they have a whole bunch of money and they want to invest it, just let people know that, because when it's a big amount of money like that, people need to know what's up, or else it can go really bad. But yeah, it's like, if it's an upward spiral, if it's a long, it's older, if it's like, 2 years old and it's been making money for 2 years, then you try to get more for it, because it will sell so freaking, you could even, with a site that's like that, you can put it on Flippa and have no reserve and people will bid like 200 times. There'll be like 200 bids on it, So, also, you can sell a site, like, as I gave another example, you can sell a site that's going down. You can be honest with the buyer. Look, I have no time someone needs to take this over, because it's just gonna, it's got a lot of potential and I don't have time to see it. That would be 3 months. You sell it for the last 3 months, the amount it made in the last 3 months. Some sites that are going like this, you can project it. You can take the last month, but it'll interfere with your auction, and people will ask, if it only made this and that. People are skeptical. They'll say, why are you selling it for this much? But it's up to them. You can price it how much ever you want. If you price something at, something that made $300,000 in the last year, and you say, I'm selling this thing for $1 million, someone might buy it. If someone saw value in it, if someone was like, or someone might be in that company, you might do pizzadelivery.com and put it up for $4 million. And most people would be like, pizza delivery, cool. It's like 5 million searches. Okay, cool. But any traffic? No. Any revenue? No. You know what I'm saying? Usually it's too high priced, But, Domino's Pizza might buy it from you for, because they want that domain name and they have the capital and it's in their niche. And that's what we're going to get into down here, exit strategy. And we'll go right into that. Do you guys, I wish I could hear your, I wish we could communicate. That's what the webinar is for. So looking forward to that. But that's the deal with that, and look at other examples. That's the best thing you can do, is look at your competitors. But really, have fun with this. Have fun putting it all together, coming up with some really good plans. You guys could come up with your own business models regarding just keeping these parameters in place, and then you come up with all sorts of different, cool possibilities, as you can see. This is fun, man. I hope you really enjoy your new career doing this, because it's freaking awesome, All right, you guys ready for exit strategy or what? This is the secret, okay? If you have a business and you want to sell it, and you want to sell it, your entire business, okay? That's, you don't want to just sell your website. You want to sell a whole bunch of websites. You want to sell all your lists that come with that website. and you want to sign a non-compete, you want to be more exclusive with it, that's cool. But guess what? You want to know how to get 2 years of revenue, 2 years of gross revenue, 3 years of gross revenue? You want to know how? You go out and you find buyers in your niche and you propose the deal. It's a little different than just posting your site and saying, hey, you want to buy my site? This is when you find buyers in that niche. If you're in the dog training niche, you will look at the biggest you'll contact the biggest dog training companies in the world, and you will send them a formal letter. You will ask to speak, with them, do a conference call, big time proposal stuff. And then you prepare an entire exit strategy. Well, it's not presented to the prospective company in that way, but you come up with an entire proposal of how it's really worth it to them, and you did work for them, and they're going to make money from this, and be honest with them, explain why you want to do it. You might be that you don't have any time to do it anymore, and it's a very, very valuable asset. And that's how, when it comes down to it, then you don't need to say, I'll buy it for 3 months. I mean, they'll probably just laugh in your face if you have too low of a number, because then it's just like, are you kidding? Like why are you wanting to do that then? So you could say, look, I'll do this. I'm considering this for 2 years of revenue. But that's more of instead of posting it like a shotgun, you go sniper and you spend a lot of time with that prospective buyer, and you only have 10, or a dozen of them or something to talk to. And so those 12 companies, the biggest ones out there that have the money, the potential to buy this company from you, you'll spend a lot of quality time with those companies, bring them out to the club, that type of thing. So it's more of a deal. That's the whole thing behind that. And I've never actually sold my entire company, but I have sold big. I wouldn't say, just doing business as, like a single .com. I've sold packages that not only consisted of multiple websites that were making money, but the entire businesses with them, like the entire subscriber base. And there's an agreement that I was not able to communicate with those buyers anymore. I mean, could you imagine that? That's what I did not do for a couple of the sites I sold, like Sonic Producer, for instance. I kept the list of Sonic Producer. That was really a very valuable to me. But one thing I did was I agreed with the buyer to sign a non-compete for 1 year. Sometimes buyers will ask you to sign a non-compete. Sometimes they'll ask you if they can take it for 3 months and then pay you later on. I never do that. I never do non-competes either. I only did it with Sonic Producer because it was a lot of money. It was like 12 months of revenue, and I figured that, this is another thing, is to build another music production machine. It takes a long time anyway. So I figured that, I would start building it right away and then just not release it until the non-compete ran out, So that's what I did, and it took like 2 years, but yeah, I mean, that was fine, just a year. I think he tried to get me to do it for 5 years or something. I said, get out of here. That's what I do for a living, I'm a musician. How can I sign a non-compete? I'm not going to do music, So no non-competes, and no ridiculous things. I mean, to give you an example, like there's no strings. It's just I give assistance for 3 months. I make sure that the buyer knows a little bit about it and is not like that gentleman who, he sent me a list of questions, what is hosting, what is a domain name, and I said, whoa, man, like you got to know what a domain name is if you're going to this is, $200,000, All right, so So yeah, guys, you excited? I think you're ready to go. Why don't you start to sell some domain names and websites and come on the webinar, and I will look at exactly what you've been doing and make sure that you are living it up to the full potential. I think that's really about it. I mean, if there's any other questions, please do not hesitate to get at me in the webinar. Also, if you guys have my Facebook, feel free to hit me up, give me some love on there. And I'd be happy to answer questions here and there. I'm pretty casual about it. All I ask is, just please put this stuff to work, I hope that I spent the time doing this for a good reason, and that you guys would really kick some ass with it. I really am passing the torch to you because I've done a lot of this, and I'm going to be doing a lot of new types of stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of video stuff in the next couple of years, and someone's got to take this, and do something amazing with it. So yeah, I mean, that's it, man. You come up with your own models. So you might think of a package of, you might get a whole bunch of, you might have 20 domains or 50 domains, and just use this metric. These are just metrics to follow, just ballpark. We don't want to, ramp up prices that much and wait that long. I know you guys don't want to wait, and there's plenty of things you can do. If you want real big money, you might as well go the easy route. It's actually much easier to sell something once you get down here. Not this. This is a little harder down there with the the longevity exit strategy, but when you get traffic and sales, then it's really easy to sell it. So it's a trade-off. If you want to, easier to find it, harder to sell it, those two, and then harder to build it, easier to sell it. So it's a good trade-off. And of course, you can now find incredible gold mines. And that's actually the inspiration behind the name of the site, because as you can see, these are virtual gold mines, and they're found mathematically like this when you look up those niche keywords. All the niches that we have in the members area, and using the marketplace, you'll see all the niches, and you'll see also in my documents and in the manifesto, you'll see all of the keywords. And all you need to do is take those keywords and try them with these and see if you get any of them that are available, number one. And if, second of all, if they are available, then look up the search volume and follow these metrics. And that's all you need to know, and it will work. You just have to compensate if something is a little tricky, if something's a little off and you feel it's a little heavy, like you were trying to get this ship to fly and it's like, oh, I can't get this sucker up, then compensate, add a logo, add a site, add traffic, keep the price the same, but add a little traffic, then it sells, It's a beautiful thing. It's like planting seeds and seeing them bud. Does that make sense? All right, well anyway, I'm going to take a short break, and then it's off to the next video. I'll be doing this all night, so I hope you enjoyed this one, and thank you very much for being an upgraded member. Get on that traffic tool and sell some domain names, and then tell me all about it. All right? So I'll see you soon, and thanks again.